Hello and welcome to another video from another retro guy who is insanely hot and insanely sweaty. It's very warm here today. It really is on this Saturday. It's unbearable. But no, for this video I thought I'd take you around my Star Trek collection. This is by no means a complete collection. I'm still missing a couple of bits and pieces. Um, but it's just the things that I've got at this very moment in time. And there's some other things as well that I've got that are in the US, but I'll go through those first of all. Basically, I'll start off with the Laserdiscs. Now, if I can remember correctly, I've got a few of the original series on Laserdisc. It's just basically like my favourite episodes, like Trouble with Tribbles, the Menagerie Parts 1 and 2, which is a dedicated disc, and ones like A Mock Time. They were quite cheap, actually. I think they were only like a couple of dollars each, about $5, $3, whatever. And I was glad to add them to my Star Trek collection. I don't have none of Next Generation or anything. I wouldn't mind adding some to it when I get the chance to. But move on to the films on that. Now, with the films, the first one, obviously Star Trek the Motion Picture, it came out in two versions. You've got the original theatrical release, and it's a notorious rotter. It really is a notorious rotter. In fact, one copy that I did find in a half-price books, it was rotted to hell, and not only that, it was scratched to buggery, and it was like $4, so I put it back. But I managed to find another copy, and it's a full frame, like 4:3 aspect ratio release, and it's got Bob Peak's absolutely gorgeous artwork on the front. The next one is the special longer version, which again is in full frame, and it's got, I think it's like an extra 10 minutes of footage, something like that anyway. And it has like extra bits of plot, like a couple of pieces, and one of them is the Spock's tear scene, which is, it's quite a pivotal moment. You know, it's kind of like part of the glue that holds the film together. And yeah, it was a shame that it wasn't kept in the original cut, but you know, everything that happened, you know, you can read about it on Wikipedia and also Memory Alpha. But it's a nice release to have. I think it's spread across 2 discs, something like that anyway. And then you've got the later re-release, which is in widescreen, and it's got a kind of border around it. I think it was released to coincide with the 25th anniversary. I've also got 2:6 in full screen aspect ratio original release versions as well. I've also got First Contact, which came with a poster, and I've also got Star Trek Generations as well, and also a Japanese import of Star Trek Insurrection, because it was the only copy that was available at the time that I could get. You know, the American version actually goes for quite a lot of money, because it was coming to the end of the Laserdisc's life. I think it was about 98, 99. So it was like only like a couple of years before like Laserdisc stopped completely. And the subtitles are actually in the bottom bar. So if you zoom in, you can't see them, which is absolutely spot on. So yes, that's those Laserdisc releases that I have. I've also got the original theatrical version on. No, it's not the original theatrical version. It's the special longer version on U.S. VHS. Again, that's over there as well, along with the director's edition on VHS as well in widescreen, which never got a release in the UK, just in the US, and that's just on VHS. The DVD got released over here, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. A couple of other things I've got is the from the classic Star Trek line that was released, I think it was a couple of years ago. I've got the Enterprise. It all lights up and everything, and you've got sounds from the TV series, you know, and everything. It's a great piece. It really is. And I've also got the classic Star Trek series phaser as well, which is pretty cool. You know, it's got like the kind of different like sounds for the like different kind of power levels, you know, and bits and pieces, and it all lights up. It's a fantastic piece. So moving on to the stuff I have here. I'm going to start off with these two because they're looking at me, and I have to because they're absolutely brilliant. They really are. There's a little line called Tubs, and they've got different characters from different bits and pieces as ducks, like rubber ducks. And I got these for Christmas, just gone, and there's Spock doing his Vulcan salute, and also Kirk with his phaser and his hairdo as well, which is pretty cool. It really is pretty cool. I love these. And I wouldn't mind getting more of them because they're just brilliant. They really are brilliant. They're just awesome. I love these. I really do. They're two pieces that I absolutely love. Speaking of pieces that I love, is this, and it's the model of V'Ger from Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now, it's quite weighty at this end because when you put it on the stand, nope, wrong way. There we go. That's how it actually goes on the stand, so the weight is more this end, so it counterbalances. And yeah, the amount of detail on it, I hope that the front camera can pick all this up. You've even got, it's not picking it up that well, but yeah, the amount of detail on this thing is amazing. They could have done something with the inside instead of it being just black. They could have painted it blue or something or other, but I'm actually really impressed with this. And this was quite hard to find as well, like over here. I did find it once and I didn't have the money to get it, sadly. And when I had the money and the opportunity came up, I think this was about 25 quid. And I'm glad that I took a punt on it because, as I say, when it came through, I was in awe. Really was in awe of how awesome it looks, you know. And yeah, it's just a fantastic piece. Now, going on to the next one. This is 22 years old. And I remember actually getting this for Christmas. I think it was off my brother, I think. And it's the Wave 2, excuse me, the Wave 2 Mirror Kirk from the episode Mirror Mirror. Now, there's two waves to this one. On Wave 1, you've got Kirk, McCoy, Uhura, Spock, and Khan. Wave 2, Mirror Kirk, Mirror Spock, Sulu, Scotty, and Chekhov. Then you've also got the Enterprise, the Kirk Minimate, and the phaser. And it's from a company called Art Asylum. Now, I don't know if they're still around, but at one point I was going to get rid of this, and I'm glad I didn't because it's just, even though it's dusty as hell, I mean, just about, there we go, that's better. It doesn't actually look like Kirk, I must admit. It looks like someone who's straining for a shit. But it's still nice to have this. You know, it's just a great piece. It really is. And yeah, that's going to be one that's definitely staying in the collection. Now, moving on to the other ships. I've had this for quite a while, actually. Honestly, I cannot remember when I bought this, but it cost $5.99 from Marquee Models in Harlow, and it is the U.S.S. Reliant NCC 1864. Is it? Yeah, 1864 from Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. Now, this is from a company called Johnny Lightning, and they did do a few other models in this series. You've got the Enterprise from Star Trek Enterprise, you've got the Enterprise from the original series, Romulan Bird of Prey, the Galileo shuttlecraft, and the D7 Klingon battle cruiser. And I wouldn't have minded getting them, but obviously you can't get them no more, I don't think. And there was even a series 2 as well. And you had a battle damage Enterprise it was either from this one or it was from Star Trek 3 when after it's had like the explosive set off by Kirk, you had like all the explosive damage and stuff like that. It was really cool, but can't find them for love nor money. But this, I'm glad I picked this up at the time because, well, it's just an awesome. Just an awesome and nicely detailed ship, and again, it's so dusty because I'm terrible at dusting. You know, I don't know if you can. Just there. I mean, this is standing in the box. I'm not taking this out whatsoever. Same as that Kirk figure. Now, the next one I want to show you is another one from Eagle Moss, and it took me a while to find this one. Because for a while, well, not a while to find it, but a while to get it at a good price. Because basically it was, well, it was always going for silly money, and I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna get it. But then when the opportunity came up to get it, I think it's for about 12 quid, I was like, I'm gonna pick it up. And it is the Eagle Moss Enterprise from the motion picture, and there is some stunning detail on it, just there, and on the underside there, especially where you've got the there, where you got the airlocks, just there, and and as the light comes through, it actually lights up, which is pretty damn cool. And that's the problem with these Enterprise ones, is that the it's either than the cells or the saucer section, which is a little bit on the piss. It's always the same, and I don't know why. But the thing is, when you do a shot like that, you can't really see it. It's just when you look at it straight on, and you got some detail underneath as well. So that is the Enterprise. Now, staying with the Enterprise is one that was literally on a pre-order, and I thought, you know what, I couldn't hit that pre-order button fast enough because apparently it was a limited release, and there was no way on earth I was going to miss this. And this was when the motion picture was originally going to start out as a follow-up TV series called Star Trek Phase 2. And they had I think it was Matt Jeffries, come back and basically design an Enterprise for the show. And this is it just here. And as you can see, it's pretty much an amalgamation of the Enterprise refit and the original version of Enterprise, because you've still got the deflector dish there. But this time you've got NCC 1701 there, and you've still got the original markings on the bottom of the saucer section. But the thing is, the struts, they've got the little nicks off there instead of going all the way up. But if you look here, instead of them being square like on the the motion picture onwards, you've got that lovely little design there, and then you've got like it's all sleek and that. And I do love this. I do love this design because it is literally it's the best of both worlds. It's an awesome little what if craft. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, I don't know if you can get it. If you can, it will probably be a hell of a lot of cash. Now, the next one, the next ship was actually one that I got from Waterstones, because they sell like little bits of memorabilia. You can get the I think it's the Proton Pack and the Ghost Trap from Ghostbusters, and bits and pieces like that. And for the Star Trek range, you can get the communicator, the phaser, which I still need to get both of them, and this, the original Enterprise with the circular nacelles. And this one actually is nigh on perfect, as you can see there. See, look. I look like the Terminator. I'm sorry, I don't know where the fuck that came from. But yeah, it's nice little bits of detail and all that. And then on the bottom, you have this switch here, and it all lights up. Look at that. How cool is that? Well, yeah, it does light up. It's just that I think the batteries are running out. So, yeah, I need to change the batteries over. But still, I think this was about a tenner in Waterstones. But you know what? This was worth every single penny. It really, really was. I just love the way that the whole thing, you know, when the batteries are all right, it just, you know, it's just fantastic. And you've even got like the little window bits. I don't know if you can see them all that well, but there we go. There we are. See, that's awesome, and it comes on this stand that's the same shape as the insignia. Sorry, I'm looking up there instead of looking there. I'm so sorry. It's just, see, and then that fits on there like that. That was one of the best purchases I made. Now, these next ones, I got all these basically because I wanted the ships. I really did want the ships, and at the time they were going for quite a lot of dough, and I thought, well, there's no way on earth I'm gonna spend that money whatsoever. So I got these from AliExpress. I think these were a tenner for the whole lot. But the funny thing is they all have the Enterprise NX-01 on every single stand, which I think is quite funny myself, but you know. Anyway, we have the original Enterprise, which is a little bit smaller than that model. And again, the nacelles are pretty much perfect. See? And again, you've got quite a bit of detail, actually. For a knockoff, a hell of a lot of detail. And I know some people will say, well, why did you get knockoff ones? Why didn't you? Because these were cheaper at the time. Okay? They were cheaper at the time. And this one seems to have a knack of falling off the stand as well. So put that one back in now. Oh, fall off then, you bastard. Right, the next one is the Enterprise A. Now, this is the... Look how wonky that is. You know what? That would have been, if the saucer section wasn't wonky, that would have been perfect. But still, I'm more than happy with it. Any single bit of Star Trek merchandise I'll fucking have. You know. But I think this is Star Trek's alcoholic cousin, Pissed Trek. And then the last one, for some reason, the Defiant, and its cloaked version. Now, and that is all the models and all the figures that I have. Sadly. So yes, that's all the models that I have at the moment. So now I'm just going to quickly move on to the VHS. Actually, no, we'll do the soundtracks first, I think. Do the soundtracks. Now, I don't have every single Star Trek movie soundtrack. I don't even have the ones for the music for the TV series. Because it's, well, I do like the music, but not enough to listen to it over and over and over and over again. I like it in the series, and that's about it. But these soundtrack CDs, I've got over many years, and basically I managed to get them cheap as hell. And the first one is the 2-disc version of the motion picture. Now, this is the first expanded release, released in 1998 by Sony. I think this was one that wasn't meant to have been released, but it was. And it's got 2 CDs. You've got the expanded soundtrack on the first, and you've got certain tracks that are meant to be with other tracks, and they're separated. So I think that's the reason why it wasn't meant to have been released. And then the second one is basically it's a conversation with Gene Roddenberry about Star Trek, Genesis 2, and what's the other one? The Questor tapes and stuff like that. So I haven't listened to the second CD, but the first CD is pretty awesome. The music from the motion picture always is. Now, the next release is the 3-disc version from La La Land. Now, this was a limited edition of 10,000 units. You've got 3 CDs. You've got the film score on disc 1 and 2, and you've got more tracks from the film and that, and there's tracks that are meant to be 1, and they are on this. And the rest of disc 2 is early unused score and the original 1979 album in sequential order, whereas before the tracks were all jumbled up. But on this, they're actually put in the correct order. And then disc 3, you've got alternates, you've got additional music, and you've also got the Bob James disco version of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. You've also got the concert edit as well, and you've also got A Star Beyond Time sung by Sean Cassidy, and it's set to Ilea's theme, which is the overture. And yeah, this is a pretty good release. You've got your booklet there. You've got the disc with Kirk, and then you've got, turn these around the right way first would help. You've got the disc with Spock, and then you've got the disc with Ilea as well, which is pretty cool. yeah, the booklets just basically say about the making of the soundtrack. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been up since about 5 o'clock this morning working, so I'm sorry if I start yawning. And then the last release is the one that was done in unison with the release of the 2022 Director's Edition. And this is the, as it was meant to have been heard, version. It's a 2-disc affair again. Completely remastered and redone by Bruce Botnick. You've got the complete score on disc 1 with the last 2 tracks, which is the Meld and the Good Start, and the end credits beginning disc 2. And then carrying on disc 2, you've got additional music, and then you've got again the original soundtrack album, again in sequential order. No, it's not in sequential order. It's in the original order on the soundtrack, on the original vinyl. And then you've got first disc and the second disc with Spock, and then you've got that lovely picture there of the crew. Now the next one is for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and this is from Film Score Monthly. It's an expanded edition, and I think this is limited. Yes, I think it is. I think it is limited because I know this is quite hard to get hold of now, and it goes for quite a bit as well. You've basically got 23 tracks. The bonus track being Epilogue, the original version, and end title, which is 7.5 minutes. The other version is near enough 9 minutes. It's 8 minutes 41. And then with the disc, you've got what they see on the computer at the end when the Genesis wave is in full flux. And then, of course, you've got the original vinyl artwork there as well, which is pretty cool. That's Star Trek 2. So the next one is Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Again, expanded by Film Score Monthly, and it's a 2-disc one. Again, you've got the original artwork for the vinyl on the inside. 2 discs on this one. And then you've got a shot of the Enterprise going into space dock. Now on disc 1 you've got the original film score, and then disc 2 you've got the original 1984 soundtrack album as well. So again, this was I managed to get this cheaper than it should be, you know, and I'm happy about that. So the next one, Star Trek IV. Again, you get alternate artwork, which is the original movie poster, and that was the front cover of the original soundtrack and also of the movie tie-in novel as well. Again, this is just 1-disc affair. You've got the remastered album from tracks 1 to 14, and then you've got extra tracks as well, which make up to 24 and near enough 73 minutes. Star Trek V is a 2-disc affair, and it's the return of Jerry Goldsmith. Disc 1 is the remastered soundtrack, and disc 2 is the original 1989 album remastered, and then you've got additional music as well, and it makes up to basically 2 hours and 12 minutes of music, which is nice. And there's a nice shot of the original crew, of which only 3 of them are alive now. And then you've got the discs there. Which is cool. And then next up, it's Cliff Idleman's only Star Trek score. Again, 2 discs. The remastered score, 4 extra tracks on disc 1. Disc 2 is the original 1991 soundtrack album, and of course, again, remastered. And it's also 2 covers to choose from. I've gone for that one because I just love that one better than that one. I do like that one, but that one for me is much better. And there's the first disc and the second disc, which looks like Klingon blood, which is pretty cool. Now, I haven't got Star Trek Generations on soundtrack, so we're going to skip that one and go straight to First Contact. Now, this is by Crescendo Records, GMP Crescendo. They did release the original version of this, but I think there was only about 12 tracks on there. This has got 29, so it's the full soundtrack album, 1 to 26. Then you've got 3 bonus tracks of alternate takes and that. And the best thing is that the disc actually looks like the Borg sphere, and then behind it you've got going into the temporal vortex as well. The next one, Star Trek Insurrection, again by GMP Crescendo. 25 tracks in total. Tracks 1 to 21 are the complete remastered score, and then you've got 4 alternate, 4 bonus alternate tracks. No alternate artwork, because that is the only artwork. Disc artwork, it's nice to have Picard on there, but it's a little bit lacking, I feel. But still, it's a good soundtrack, this. In fact, I think all of them, bar Voyage Home, are good soundtracks, but that's just me. And the last one is the last of Jerry Goldsmith's collaborations with the Star Trek universe. His last Star Trek score before he passed, which is sad. Really, really is sad. Not a bad score, actually. Really, really like this one. And I don't actually mind the film either. It gets a lot of hate, but I've no idea why. If I had that up the right way, wouldn't it? On the inside, you've got the reverse shot of Tom Hardy with shins on, and then you've got the Romulan logo there. And this is by a very Saraband. This was re-released as a 2 discs expanded score, but it goes for absolutely stupid money. And there's no way on earth I'm going to pay that, so I'm quite happy to pay £8 for this. I really am. Balls to the scalpers as far as I'm concerned. So, now we're going to move on to the VHS. And the first one we're going to look at is the re-release of Star Trek The Motion Picture in this lovely, fetching, bordered artwork. Now, when HMV done the VHS line, I was hoping that this would get a release. This, Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3. Sadly, it never came about. I think there was only a couple of waves, and then it just completely died to death, and they stopped, which is sad. I mean, this release, it says 124 minutes. It's actually 126. I know it says approximate, but the thing is with this, every about 5 minutes, it jumps a second. So, it's a unique release because of that. And it's got a bit of a green tint to the print as well. But I'm glad to have it. It's a unique version for me, and I'm glad to have it. Really am glad to have it. Now, the next one, again, is Star Trek The Motion Picture, but it's got this design. Now, when they were re-released on VHS with this design, it was in 2 flavours. This is the full screen. The widescreen has Star Trek the movies down the side here, and widescreen across the top. This full screen version is actually the special longer version, and it's 138 minutes. So it's about 12. It's about 12 minutes extra. I was wrong only on about 10 minutes. It's about 12 minutes extra. Of course, it doesn't actually say about the special longer version. It just says Star Trek the Motion Picture. The only way you can tell, as I say, is by looking at the running time on the back. That's literally it. This version was released in a clear clamshell. And it actually had special longer version, like a red triangle at the top. I had that release years ago, but again, I got rid of it, and I wish I never. Like I had these releases, but all in widescreen, and I wish I never got rid of them. I actually quite like these releases, especially with those spines. It's pretty cool spine design, especially with the Starfleet logo there as well. You know, I really wouldn't mind getting these again to add to the collection. Now the next one is the 25th anniversary re-release of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, using an amalgamation, of the original artwork, which has got a border of film stills, and also the second poster. You know, and I quite like this. I quite like this art. It says original full length version. Now I don't know if the original VHS was cut or not, but I actually had this version back in the day. I actually went out and bought this version, and again, like an idiot, I got rid of it, and I wish I never. But I'm glad I got it back now. Case is a little bit worse for wear, but I can always get another case elsewhere. Yeah, this is a fantastic tape, you know. And this was at roughly about the time when Paramount started to do that. You know, the barcode and the title. So that's Star Trek II on VHS. Star Trek III has got the same box design as the motion picture, and I really do like this design. I wouldn't mind getting this in Star Trek II as well, to go with the whole lot. Yeah, you've got the original poster art there, and this one, for some reason, is the 25th anniversary tape. So it's not the tape that's supposed to go in here. This is the 25th anniversary tape, because look. But you know what? It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I've got it, so that's all that matters, really. Yeah, proper early 80s or mid 80s, like 85, 86, 87-ish, you know, design, you know, 80s in style. It's the only way to be. The only way to be, baby. And then the last one of the not the last one of the singular ones, but the last one of the singular UK releases that I have. There we go. It's the Voyage Home. Now, that is how it was originally shown to us, as the Voyage Home Star Trek IV. The original title card in the film has the sensor ball of the probe coming down with the beam of light, and that ultimately gets replaced with the Voyage Home, with the O in home replacing the sensor, and Star Trek IV. When the films came out on DVD, they replaced it with the Star Trek IV beaming in, you know, with the whole transporter sound effect, and then the Voyage Home coming in at the bottom to keep it in line with the other ones. Personally, I prefer this one. I prefer the way that it's done here, the Voyage Home Star Trek IV. You know, I don't know, there's just something about it. I suppose it's like a nostalgia tinge, like a twang of nostalgia, you know. I mean, I originally had this on X Rental, but the tape was going wrong, sadly, so I had to get rid. So when the chance came along to get this version, I gladly took it off their hands, you know, in exchange for cash, you know. And yeah, there's the cassette. And then on the back, and you'll notice the runtime of 117 minutes. Now, in the original prints of the international versions and the UK version as well, you had a prologue, which is a kind of a last time on Star Trek kind of thing. So if you hadn't seen Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3, they put this prologue on to get you up to speed. So basically, if you wanted to watch Star Trek 4, you don't have to watch 2 and 3. You can just watch this, and it will say, right, this and this has happened. Here's the film. And for me, that's how I'll always remember it. You know, after the later DVDs, I think it was changed to the US print, which basically didn't have that prologue, and I was quite sad about it in quite a few ways, because that's how I remember it, with that prologue. You know, so I'll keep this. You know, this takes pride in of place in my collection as a version with the prologue, the original prologue. You know, and I just remember just watching this version on VHS at the time and just, you know, absolutely loving it. You know, now we're going to skip ahead a few films, and we're going to skip to the other side of the pond for Star Trek First Contact. Not Insurrection, that's coming next. It's this one first. It's this one first. Honest, Governor. Now, when this was released in the UK, it was in a hard box case. You know, a bit like the Matrix was. And it had this card in there as an extra. You know. Sadly, again, I got rid. But I wouldn't mind getting another version of that back. Sorry, another copy of that back. But this one, it's actually... There you go. So you got there as normal, and then as soon as it goes to there, resistance is futile, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's the exact same lenticular as what we got in the UK, but inside the box. And then you've got a proper printed label, and then the spine label, which I think is pretty cool. Can't remember how much this was. I think this was $1. $1 well spent, I think. Same with this one. This wasn't the one I was going to show before First Contact. Honest, Governor. Yeah, again, exactly like the UK release, with a hollow foil kind of... It's not... You can just about see it. There we go. You can just about see it there. Just down there, see. All rainbow colours, even on the back as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's not picking it up. It's making me out to be a liar. It's making me... Oh, no. Yep, it's making me out to be an absolute liar. But still. Proper printed out label. Nothing on the spine, sadly. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting the UK version of this again, because I had, again, the same kind of box as First Contact, but it had this foil kind of rainbow effect on it, which is pretty cool. Now, the last thing for the VHS. Now, I originally saw this in a charity shop, and the charity shop wanted 40 quid for it. This was about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought, I know it's for charity, but that's steep for VHS cassettes. Yeah, I thought that's steep for VHS cassettes. And when I saw on eBay a copy of this game for £10, I snapped it up. It is the 30th anniversary limited edition set. Star Trek the Motion Picture up to Star Trek Generations. Bit of marking on there, but only thing is with this clasp, it's prone to rust, sadly. Which is a shame. But yeah, you've got a bit of debossing or embossing on there and on the sides there. It's very, very fine. And then you've got there with the limited edition number 10,687. Now with this, oh yeah, and on the bottom you've got that as well, the label. And then you've got, I can pick that up. There you go. You've got that debossing of all the badges from every era. Original series movies, next generation movies, which is pretty cool. So, opening this up, you get this piece of paper, parchment paper, I think it is. And you can't really see it all that well, but yeah, there we go. It's the same as the front. "26-page brochure again, with the United Federation of Planets logo in foil. And there she is. Thing of beauty or what? And then it's a write-up of all 7 films. Basically like a behind the scenes and stuff like that. I won't go through the whole booklet, but you know. And then you've got where it says at the moment, well, then we're looking at the future of Star Trek. You know, it's a nice little booklet to go with it. It really is. And then you've got the films themselves. Now, all the VHS cassettes come in boxes like this. This is kind of debossed, and you've got the poster there. There's nothing on the back, and on the side, that's debossed as well, which is quite nice. And all the cassettes look exactly like that. So it's like that late Paramount kind of, digital kind of printing on it. But yeah, so that's Generations. That's Star Trek VI Undiscovered Country. Then you've got The Final Frontier, The Voyage Home. Then you've got The Search for Spock. Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. The standard edition, not the director's edition, which came out on DVD early 2000s. And then you've got Star Trek, the motion picture, and this is the original theatrical edition. And of course, as I say, they're all in widescreen. You've got all the details there. There's nothing on the back of these, just, the credits for the particular film there. And then on the inside of the box, you've got, hopefully the camera can pick that up, if not. Yeah, you've got all the badges along the bottom. United Federation Planets logo there. And it's the same in there as well. You can't really pick that up all that well because the lighting here is crap. So I'll just put them back. Now there are a few other box sets of this, and yeah, I wouldn't mind getting them. But if you look, all the spines make up United Federation of Planets logo, which is pretty cool. And you've got the receipt here as well from the person who bought it in, when was it? 10th of the 2nd, 1996. So this set is near enough 30 years, 29 years old. And they paid $54.99 for it in game in Loughborough. You've even got the credit card receipt signed by a S.A. Jones. So, Mr. Jones, I have your Star Trek set. No, I will not be returning it. It's mine now. Mine. And what a set it is. It's probably one of the nicest pieces that I own for Star Trek. Really, really is. Just a fantastic set. The amount of care that went into this, you know, near enough 30 years ago. Fantastic. Honestly. Absolutely fantastic. So, now, we're going to move away from the VHS. And we're going to move to the DVDs. Now, this first set is one of 3 that I did have ages ago. But again, like a fool, I got rid of all 3. Especially when I bought the Blu Ray set. But I wanted to get these again because I just love these cases. And, you know, it's just a fantastic set. And it is the first season of the original Star Trek. Now, these cases, you open them up like that. Got the booklet. Then you've got all the discs. And you've got basically the portraits of the characters or the actors from various episodes. We can't have her upside down now, can we? And we can't have the lovely Rand upside down, can we? There she is. Now this is the DVD set. Now this was released at the same time as the HD DVD combo, which basically one side of the disc is HD DVD, the other side is standard DVD. We only got season 1 released on HD DVD over here. Seasons 2 and 3 got released in the States. Now season 1 on HD DVD is actually about 10 quid. So, but trying to get the other ones, it's going to cost a lot more to import them. So I am going to try and pick up the other 2 sets to go with this. And yeah, I just wish I never got rid of these in the first place. These are awesome sets. They really, really are. And with this whole aesthetic, it just gives it that whole kind of 60s Star Trek look. You know, it's just a fantastic release. It really, really is. Now, moving on. Oh, that's Blu-ray. Moving on to the DVD sets of the movies. We're going to move on to this one. The first release of the director's edition. Now, this is the original director's edition, which basically isn't as complete as the newer version because there were still some tweaks that needed to be done. But you know, as a Star Trek fan in the early 2000s, as soon as this came out, I snapped it up in Tesco. 20 quid well spent. And yeah, this is a 2-disc set. Disc 1, disc 2. And you've got obviously all the paraphernalia for when Star Trek The Next Generation was launched on DVD. Collectibles 7 seasons in 2002. You've got a letter from the late Robert Wise. Inside you've got all the special features and the chapter points. And also, I didn't realise, I still had the receipt. £19.97 from Tesco. And that was the 7th of May. So I've had this for 23 years. 23 years this month. And where did I get this? Church Langley. Tesco in Harlow, Church Langley. So that will stay there because that's a nice little piece of history. And yeah, in this lovely silver DVD case. First time I saw this, it blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind with how much better it made the motion picture. You know. And for me, yeah, it wasn't as cleaned up as the newer version. They did what they could with the resources at hand then. And this is still a fantastic version. You know, the newer director's edition is miles ahead. It's how the film should have looked and sounded. But this is a nice kind of in-between, if you know what I mean. You know, excellent release. Especially from 2002. Yeah, 2002. Now, I'm going to go back to the year before. The year before, and I was buying these versions of the film on DVD. They were the only ones around at the time. And not only do you get the film, but you get CD-ROMs with it as well. And in this nice kind of like hollow foil kind of packaging. Now, there we go. Got a little bit of it there. This is Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. That's how it was meant to have looked on Insurrection, by the way. See, and these are all numbered as well. I don't know how many copies it was limited to. Probably about 15,000, I think. But yeah, there's the back. See, on these releases, on this one, it's just basically theatrical trailer, and you also get on certain ones, you got a game. Star Trek New Worlds. I haven't played New Worlds for a while. I really haven't. There's the film disc. Yeah, I haven't seen... Oh, sorry, I ain't played New Worlds. So I might have to give that a go. That was in the original DVD that came out. So it's basically, it's just a repackage with a game thrown in for free. Who's going to say no to that? Now, with this one, and the next four, I actually got these again for a crisp £10 off of eBay. Bagging! The next one, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. Again, in this lovely case. And this one's 11,462. And in this one, you've got Starfleet Command Gold Edition. Now, I remember playing this back in the day when I had this originally. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And there's a Search for Spock DVD. Yeah, I loved it. And I wasn't any good, but I still enjoyed it. That's the main thing. The next one, The Voyage Home. Now, I watched this earlier on today being Saturday the 10th. This is actually the same cut, the same version as what was on the VHS that I showed you, the Voyage Home VHS. But it's got the beaming in Star Trek 4 titles and then the Voyage Home coming in afterwards. It's not like, as I was saying about the probe thing coming down. So it's still got the prologue, but it's got the new title card. So it's kind of, you know, again, best of both worlds, I suppose. But I still remember the old title card. Now, this one has got a Star Trek E-Man organizer. Why they couldn't have put another game with it, I don't know, but still. And then you've got all the paraphernalia and the Star Trek 4 disc. Then moving on to Star Trek V. Oh, this one's 21,712, so maybe 25,000. Sounds of Star Trek. Now, I don't know what that is, so I'll have to have a look at that. And then you've got Star Trek 5. And then the last one, Star Trek 6. Yeah, 22,274. So, yeah, this one has got a demo CD on it of Klingon Academy, New Worlds, and Starfleet Command Volume 2, Empires of War. I do like these ones. As I say, these were my first taste of the Star Trek films on DVD. And then I ended up getting the 2-disc versions that came out with the slip cases, which I'm still trying to get hold of again. And yeah, I love these releases. I'm certain these were released at the same time as... No. These were released 3 years after that version of the motion picture that I showed you earlier on with this same design. So that's those DVDs. Now, in 2005, there was a magazine, and I think it was every week or every month, you got a new disc. You had the original series, and you had Next Generation as well. And I think there was about 3 episodes on each disc. Now, these ones I actually managed to get in a charity shop for 50p each, and I wanted to get them to go with my collection. And they all make up Star Trek, the film collection. Come on, you bastard. There you go. That's close enough. Right, now, the thing is, this one is the director's edition, but it's just 1 disc. And it even says the motion picture. It doesn't actually say disc 1 or anything. See, on this, all you've got is group commentary and the text commentary, so you don't get all the other special features. But I suppose for a budget DVD, you know, from the front of a book, you know, no one was going to complain. And the thing is, on the spine, you've even got the picture as well. But that's of the original theatrical version. It's not that one, but still. Who cares? Then you've got Wrath of Khan. Now, again, these discs are all the same. I need to check this out. So that one's got the 15 rating, the original 15 rating in black and white, and then the new one. So yeah, reprint. Probably the same like, you know, the same print, you know, with like all dirt and scratches and whatnot. But yeah. So yeah, Star Trek 2. Then you've got Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. With different disc art, instead of it being like a mirror. But then you've got how Paramount used to do their DVDs back in the old days with the widescreen collection, either at the bottom or the top. Star Trek 4. Again, the white disc this time. And they've all got not for resale on them as well. But what are they going to do? Go after your charity? All for charity, mate. Star Trek 6. These were all in there at the same time, and I was like, right, scoop. Generations. First Contact. Oh, that's one with a mirrored disc. Interesting. But as I say, they've all got not for resale on them. So then you got Star Trek Insurrection. And then lastly, you've got Star Trek Nemesis. As I say, they've all got posters on the side. Now, this is the only one that's got special features on it. You've got documentaries, deleted scenes, commentary, photo gallery. Although why it says widescreen version enhanced for 16:9 TVs, Dolby Digital, subtitles and additional subtitles as a special feature. That's not a special feature, it's a standard feature. Huh? Anyway, Star Trek Nemesis. Now, when this was released originally on DVD, it came with a slip box. It was like a glittery kind of slip box with like green and whatnot. And I wouldn't mind getting hold of that version. But do you think I can find it now? Yet. So now we go on to the Blu-rays, and you know what? I'm going to get these ones. Hello, Duke. I'm going to get these ones out of the way first. These are. Hello. These are the Kelvinverse films, and we're going to start off with the 3-disc version of the original film. Now, I do like this film. I really, really do. I think it's a decent film. In fact, I'd say it's possibly the best one out of all three. Sorry, the thing fell out. So there's the digital copy. There goes the digital copy. The hell's... There we go. So, yeah, as I say, you've got the digital copy, you've got the special features, and then you've got the film disc as well. And then all the paraphernalia. And then, of course, the J card, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, the J card went on the back. Did it? That can't be right, surely. No, I don't think it... Oh, it might be. I don't know. Yeah, it might be. Anyway, when the 4Ks were released of these, the only special feature you got was a commentary. This has got loads of other features on it, so that's why I've kept hold of it, and I've not got the 4Ks. I'm happy with these, you know. As much as I do like this one, and the other two are all right, I'm not a huge fan of you know, I need to get them on 4K. Yeah, they look amazing on Blu-ray, but I don't know. They're just too gung-ho for me, you know. I like Star Trek to have a little bit of thought. It makes you think and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's Star Trek. Then you have Star Trek Into Darkness, or Wrath of Khan Volume 2. And then you got Star Trek Beyond with lovely slip sleeve, Blu Ray, paraphernalia, and again, quite a few special features. And again, why they didn't put the bonus features on the 4K, I'll never understand. You know, because there's a special feature on it called for Leonard and Anton, because sadly Leonard Nimoy passed away, I think, before the making of this, or it might have been, yeah, I think it was just before this was made, and Anton Yelchin passed away just after in a tragic accident. And it would have been nice for them to actually put that on the 4K as well, like carry it over. But yeah, there's deleted scenes on here and everything, and why they never put this on the 4K, I do not know. So, but yeah, so that's the Kelvinverse films. As I say, I do like them, but not enough to have multiple copies. And then, of course, we have the Blu-ray release of the animated series. Now, this is the complete animated series. I think there's about 15 episodes, something like that anyway. But it's 526 minutes. And I actually remember watching this on TV when I was a kid, absolutely loving it. So, of course, when this came out on Blu-ray, I snapped it up. This is a fantastic series. It really is. And the best thing is that the cast all came back. You know, it even introduced some new characters, and you know, James Doohan voiced some extra characters and all that, and so did Majel Barrett. So yeah, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 episodes. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 episodes, and there was 2 seasons. Season 2 only had 6 episodes, which was a damn shame. But yeah, done by, I think it was Filmation Norway or something or other. Basically produced by Lou Schreiber, who done quite a few cartoons. I think they done He-Man as well. Known for reusing certain like animation cells and stuff like that, which is quite evident. But still, this is a fantastic series, and I'm glad to have it on 4K Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind the DVD snapcase set like the first season. You know, that'd be brilliant if I could get hold of that. It really, really would. And talking of seasons, we're going to move on to the original series Blu-ray. Now, I got this, I think I got this as soon as it came out. You've got a kind of half flimsy box, but the design on it, I don't actually mind. It's embossed there. Then you've got on the back, top, the bottom you've got your technical specs, and then on the side, and then you've got this Amaray case, which seems to be the standard for TV sets recently. All 79 episodes with enhanced visual effects, 7.1 surround sound and original mono audio, and 9 hours of special features. And then you've got all the episodes and all the special features. Disc 6 is the Cage and the extended version of the Cage with Jeffrey Hunter. Rare home movies, preview trailers. Yeah. Disc 4's only got the Trouble with Tribbles on it on season 2. But you've also got more troubles, more tribbles, more troubles from the animated series. And you've also got Trials and Tribulations from Star Trek Deep Space Nine in HD, which I think is a nice touch. And then you've got all the discs on this. That's season 1. Season 2 is blue. And then season 3 is in red. Why they couldn't be gold, I don't know, but still. So yeah. That's the complete original series of the original Star Trek. The one that actually got me into the series. In fact, we had them taped off Sky One when they first came on. And yeah, as soon as I started watching it, I was like, this is awesome. I mean, being what, it came on, what, in 89. And I think we started to get... Next Generation back then, that year as well. And yeah, we recorded every single episode. I think I've only got about 3 or 4 tapes left of the original episodes. They were all broadcast out of order. Well, some of them were broadcast out of... In fact, no, I think they might have all been broadcast out of order, but Turnabout Intruder was played last. And plus, the credits were put on before the pre-credits teaser, that sets up the episode. So they're quite unique in that kind of way. But yeah, I've got 4 of those tapes left, sadly. And one of the tapes that I got rid of, which I wish I never, it was a recording of Star Trek II off of Channel 4. And I think there was a couple of episodes on after that as well. But yeah, hey, the things we do back then, Right, so moving on to this Blu Ray box set. And I must admit, I got this off of eBay a while ago. And yeah, it's a bit battered, I'll grant you. But it was my first foray into the realm of the Star Trek movies in HD. And it is the Legends of the Final Frontier box set. Now I love this box. Because you've got the Enterprise all the way around. And yes, sadly, it's badly marked on the bottom. It's dusty as hell. But as I say, it was my first foray into the Star Trek films on Blu Ray. Now on the inside, you've got the individual releases. Now with these, if I remember correctly, yeah, I didn't like the original art, which was that. And I did do pieces for all of them. But I only got around to doing 1 or 2, sadly. That is for Star Trek the Motion Picture. Because you can't have Star Trek the Motion Picture without Bob Peake's fantastic artwork. So yeah. Then you've got Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan, which again is another custom one. And then here's where it goes back to the originals. I did have Search for Spock and all that all done, but I just never got a chance to print them out. And these ones do actually have like the it's like a foil. Oh, it's not going to show it now. It's not going to show it. Bastard. Then you've got Voyage Home, and they've all got the same colour discs. Same colour discs. And there's the Final Frontier. Did you know that Spock has 3 ears? The left ear the right ear, and the final frontier. Boom, boom! Oh, I did do one for Star Trek 6. There we go. I forgot I'd done one for it. Yeah, it was done cheaply, but you know. I was happy with how that came out and look. And as I say, then you've got Star Trek Generations. I just noticed something as well. Look at the Star Trek. Now, it's printed in white. Very weird decision. Why not keep it uniform like the rest? It's First Contact. Insurrection. And then Nemesis. And then also, there's a special features disc, which is two discs. It's got 2 hours of bonus content on 2 discs, but it doesn't say. Oh, it's the Star Trek: The Captain's Summit and Star Trek Evolutions. So it's got to be like an hour on each disc. And this one, motion picture, is the whole lot. They're not remastered all that well. You know, the picture's not as good as it could be. You know, especially not until you get to the later like 4K releases and that. So now we're going to move on to the steelbooks. In fact, I've done a video unboxing of these steelbooks, but I'm going to show them here anyway. You've got the motion picture with the debossing. I won't open them up because it's exactly the same discs as the Legends of the Final Frontier box set. It was released at the same time. I really can't get over how nice these look in the flesh. I really can't. These look absolutely smashing, and I'm glad to have got the whole lot for a very decent price. I really am. I think this just shows how much of a Trek nut I really am, especially for the original series and the next generation, as what my collection primarily is, the original series, you know. But yeah, I mean, a lot of fond memories of watching these films for the very first time, especially like number 3. We had a recording off of BBC One, you know, and I think I pretty much wore the tape out. Star Trek 5 and Star Trek 6 we recorded off of Sky Movies back in the day. Yeah, Star Trek 2 was a Channel 4 recording. And Star Trek the Motion Picture I didn't actually watch until I was given a Betamax recording off of ITV. Yeah, it was played on ITV back in the day. Go figure. And yeah, it was my first viewing of the motion picture, and it blew my mind. I absolutely loved it, and I love it to this day. But Star Trek 2 was the one I saw first, you know. But hell, you know, it's First Contact, Insurrection, and then lastly, Nemesis. And then when you put it all together, what have you got? Confidence. No, it makes, there you go, a 50th anniversary insignia. So that's all the Blu-rays and the DVDs. Now we're going to move on to the very last part, which is the 4Ks. I do want to give a special mention to the games. Actually, I've got one of the games here. 1 second. Now, in regards to the games, I do have Star Trek 25th Anniversary on Game Boy, but sadly, it's been misplaced. I can't find it. I did do a video review of it. I think it was last year or the year before or something. I'll put a link up there for it, and I'll let you have a look at it. But I think it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. I've also got Star Trek: The Next Generation. Now, I can't actually remember this game. I really can't remember what you have to do in it. All I know is that it's Star Trek: Next Generation. That's literally it. So there you go. No idea what one it is. There's also Return to the Nexus, which is Star Trek Generations. I've not played it. I don't even know what you have to do in it. But I wouldn't mind trying to track it down and see what the game's all about. I've got a feeling it follows the storyline from Star Trek Generations. So that'd be quite interesting. And then there's this. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Crossroads of Time. Now, this is pretty much 2 games in one. Platformer, and basically you control one of the runabouts when you go through the wormhole and fight against other like bad guys and that. I've got up to a certain part. I think I was Major Kira on Bajor, and I couldn't get any further than that. But yeah, I absolutely love this game. I've hardly played it for like years. I played it like religiously for like a good few months, and then it just sat, but I could never part with it. I mean, the cartridge is pretty much like mint condition, and the instruction book, well, I don't think I've even read through it. Oh no, wait, I have. There we go. I wrote passwords down. So yeah, there we go. Near enough mint. But would I sell it? Never, not in a million years. This goes well in my Star Trek collection. And yeah, never get rid of it. Can't remember where I got it from. Woolies? Was it Woolworths? Something like that anyway. But yeah, so now we're going to move on to the 4Ks and the last part of the video. Now, when this set was released, first of all, there was one set. It was weird how they released the films. They released the first 4 in a box set, and then they released them singly. And then when they released Final Frontier and Undiscovered Country, like on their own, they then released another box set with all 6 films, and this is the one that I picked up. I actually got this cheap. This was off of eBay, and at the time, I think not long after it came out, this was about 130 quid, and I got it for 70 quid, roughly about that anyway. And yeah, this has got Blu-ray and 4K of all 6 films. So this is the 4K set, and you've got the motion picture. You've got the motion picture director's edition. You've got the Wrath of Khan with both versions on one disc. Star Trek 4. Sorry, Star Trek 3. Star Trek 4, 5, and 6. And my tickets when I went to go and see Star Trek 2 and the motion picture. And then you've got the Blu Ray versions as well. Again, motion picture, director's edition. Oh, bonus disc. Sorry, that's the bonus disc. So then you've got Star Trek 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's that set. You've also got the Next Generation set. Now this, again, this was cheap. I got this for, it was about 80 quid at the time. 80, 85 quid when it came out. It might have been a bit more than that. I picked it up for 40 off of Amazon. And the reason being, there's a bit of damage there. But that doesn't bother me. 40 quid. Works out a tenner a film. About £5 per disc. So look. So you've got Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, Nemesis. And these have all been completely remastered from the original Blu, like, as opposed to how the other Blu-rays turned out. They were too DNR'd and things like that. It was too waxy, but this has got loads of detail in it. They look so much better. And there's the Blu-rays. Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, Nemesis. And then on the back, you've got all the technical details and stuff like that. And then you've got the set, which I did an unboxing of a couple of years ago. My magnum opus of the 4K sets. I love this set. I really do. I'm not going to go through it all. Actually, no, I'm going to go through it all over again. So it comes in this lovely, like, hardback book kind of thing. Now, I've taken all the discs out and put them in here. Mainly because they're a pain in the arse to get out of these. And plus, they could fall out. That's a reproduction of an original poster, which is fucking amazing. You've got the communication from the late Robert Wise there that's featured in the DVD. Got all the discs. You got bonus disc. And then four bumper stickers. Set of stickers. Reproduction cards. Poster, which is lovely. And then lastly, you've got a booklet which has got production stills and bits and pieces. This set, I'm so glad I got it at the time, because I just think that this is possibly the most, well, it's the greatest set for a film that I've ever seen. It really is. I just love this whole set. And I can actually say I could never part with this. Never part with this whatsoever. It's just a brilliant set. And then last, by no means least, the Steelbook, 4K Steelbook for the original theatrical edition of Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now, this is the same disc that was in the Complete Adventures set. Well, this is a US release, so it doesn't contain the director's edition, sadly. It has got I think it's got Blu Ray in there as well. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, 4K, Blu Ray, and digital code. And you also get this as well, which I didn't know about. Storyboard book. Then on the back, the original theatrical poster art. But I love that though. That was a poster as well. It was all foil and that. And then of course you've got the steelbook with Bob Park's fantastic artwork. The Human Adventure is just beginning on the back. And then you've got the 4K, the Blu Ray, and of course you've got that awesome picture as well, where they're going up the steps to visit Voyager. This is a really nice steelbook. As I say, it's a shame it never got a release in the UK. I had to import this, but it was well worth it. It really, really was well worth it. I mean, as I say, I can't tell you how much I love this film. So to get any version that I can, you know, I'll gladly do it. I really will. Come on! I just want to get it in. There we go. There we go. Back in the protector.